I'm sorry, but your father's name doesn't ring a bell with me, so how can there be a connection? Connect the dots, Mr. Oliver. I read your name in Dad's work calendar. That means you're involved in his case. I don't know how you make a living as an analyst. Well, I don't anymore. Really? Why doesn't that surprise me? Her tone startled him, and it was all he could do to keep his voice calm. Good morning, Miss Archer, he said, and started to turn away. Wait, she sighed and reached into her windbreaker. If your memory returns, here's Dad's business card. The phone number at his cabin is on it. She pointed at a weathered single-story log cabin about 50 yards from the base of the rock. A tall tree overhung its steep, mossy roof. It's Dad's place. I'm staying there now. He nodded, pocketed the card, and started back toward the village. After a few paces, he stopped and looked back. She remained where he'd left her. What does this woman expect me to do? He turned away and with shoulders hunched continued on to the village. If nothing else, the morning's encounter had been a welcome diversion from rehashing his personal situation. Reaching the village, he slowed his pace, glancing into shop windows and passing the converted two-story frame house that was now a bookstore that specialized in local history. On an earlier visit to the village, he'd spent hours browsing through the rows of freestanding shelves on both floors jammed with old books. One corner was devoted to the accounts of converting the nearby Crystal Springs Lake into a reservoir for the Hetch Hetchy Dam in the High Sierras. The accounts had piqued Nick's interest because of his assignment at the Timely Information Plan. He had never actually seen the dam or the reservoir until he'd paged through the pictures in the accounts. The black and white photographs that detailed the system's construction fascinated him. Nearly a century old, the 200-mile aqueduct system from the dam to the local reservoir had fallen into disrepair, and his last assignment at TIP dealt with researching the consulting company's bidding on a major contract to study the feasibility of refurbishing the aqueduct system. Nick's job was to analyze one company's chances of winning the contract. It was as he'd told Erin. He did his snooping on the internet with a computer mouse clicking on web pages, poring over market and financial publications. But that job was then. He no longer worked at TIP. Still feeling the chill in his bones, he went into the bakery, ordered a take-out cup of French roast, and thumbed the crust of a loaf of sourdough bread. Crisp and warm, it would go with the mortadella and salami at the cabin. He bought the loaf, drove out of the village, and followed the winding road that descended to the forested valley and led to the entrance to Wonderland. Pulling around an area of SUVs, he parked in a remote edge of the parking area. With luck, the car would be safe from families hauling baggage and boxes back and forth between their vehicles and cabins. He started toward his cabin, down a footpath bordered with stump carvings of animal figures he recognized. Illustrations of them appeared in the complimentary copy of the Lewis Carroll stories provided in his cabin. Smiling, he picked out one Cheshire cat, a puppy, and a caterpillar before he neared a swarm of shrieking children huddled around a stump beating on it. He laughed when he recognized the hapless stump was a carving of the Queen of Hearts and recalled the Queen's penchant for shouting, "Off with someone's head." He made a mental note to read more about the Queen that warranted the children's ire. But first he would check his work-assigned smartphone's contact manager application to see if he had ever come across Sam Archer in his work. If he had any contact with the man, it would be there. Inside his cabin, he went into the bedroom and to the cardboard storage box he'd brought with him. His work phone was somewhere inside, along with CDs, his DVD player, and books he had yet to read. While he sorted through the clutter, he considered what Erin Archer had told him about her father. The Timely Information Plan could have hired Sam Archer. TIP regularly contracted with private investigative agencies to ferret out information on companies. He fished out the phone and turned it on. The battery still had life, and he clicked the icon for the contact manager application. A quick search of the database verified it was as he expected. There was no record of anyone by the name of Archer. Just to make sure, he pulled out the business card Erin had given him and punched in the phone number from the PI's card. The query revealed no record of that number, and nothing came up on a search of Archer's address. "Whoever you are, Sam Archer, I don't know you,"